Hey everyone. Welcome back to the Soul Harmony channel. Hope you're all doing amazing today. Please subscribe, like, comment, and share.
A weathered sign looms. Hollowbrook, population. Fading. Dr. Mara Vayne drives down a long, winding road. Crooked pines crowd the edges of the desolate path. Mist hangs heavy, shrouding the landscape in an eerie veil. The silence is unnerving, broken only by the hum of the engine. Hollowbrook awaits, its secrets hidden behind the mist. Mara drives into Hollowbrook, the car a stark contrast to the village's aged buildings. Dilapidated houses line the street, their peeling paint whispering tales of forgotten times. Dark windows stare blankly, reflecting the village's hidden secrets and untold stories. The villagers' wary eyes follow Mara, their expressions a mixture of suspicion and guarded curiosity. In the distance, the swamp looms, a dark and ominous presence casting a shadow over Hollowbrook. The swamp's murky depths hint at the unknown dangers lurking within the village's borders. In the dimly lit Hollowbrook Inn, Mara, a young woman with determined eyes, checks in, her gaze sweeping the room. The owner, a hunched figure with milky eyes, shuffles forward, a worn key extended in his trembling hand. "You're not here to study the swamp, are you?" the owner asks, his voice raspy and low. Mara's eyes narrow. "No, I'm here for the disappearances." A chilling warning echoes. "Then leave before nightfall." Mara unpacks in her room, its space dominated by an imposing antique mirror that seems to watch her every move. The mirror's warped glass distorts the light, casting eerie shadows that dance around the room. Drawn in, Mara leans closer to the mirror, her curiosity piqued by its strange allure. A subtle, unsettling anomaly. Her reflection blinks a beat behind, a chilling disconnect in the glass. Sunlight floods Mara's room as she confronts her reflection, a storm of fear and confusion brewing in her eyes. "What are you?" Mara whispers, her voice trembling as her reflection seems to respond with a smile. Mara stumbles back, her heart pounding in her chest, the unsettling image burned into her mind. The reflection returns to normal, and she tries to rationalize the vision, attributing it to stress and exhaustion. Mara confronts her mirror image, an unnerving intensity reflected in both sets of eyes. A sudden, icy draft chills the room, raising goosebumps on Mara's skin as she stands transfixed. The mirror seems to ripple, the reflection's lips moving with a life of their own. A chilling voice echoes from the glass. "Don't look away next time." Mara's breath hitches, trapped between fear and a dark curiosity. Mara walks with growing concern, her boots kicking up dust as she arrives in Hollowbrook. A woman clutches herbs, her eyes darting. "Shadows snatch them," she whispers, fear etched in every line. A grizzled fisherman points with a trembling hand. "Monsters in the swamp," he croaks, his voice laced with dread. A child stares wide-eyed. "That's where they come from." The other side, adding to the growing terror. In the dim town hall basement, Sheriff Dalton points at the shattered remains of a 7-foot mirror. Scorch marks mar the cold concrete, a testament to the horror that unfolded. Claw marks score deep furrows across the low ceiling, a desperate struggle frozen in time. Dalton's grim expression conveys the terror he witnessed. This belonged to the first victim. He was sucked in. "I saw it happen," Dalton says, his voice echoing in the haunted basement. Dust motes swirl in a lone sunbeam, illuminating the basement's silent gloom. Dalton gestures dramatically, his face lit with fervent belief. "Reflections here aren't reflections," Dalton whispers, his eyes gleaming. Dalton's voice drops to a conspiratorial hush. "They're doors." Mara stares, her expression unreadable in the dim light. The heavy silence hangs, thick with unspoken questions and growing tension. In the quiet of her dimly lit room, Mara sits transfixed, her eyes drawn to the warped mirror on the wall. The only sound is the soft, rhythmic ticking of a clock, each beat amplifying the silence. The digital display flashes 12:03 a.m., a moment frozen in the stillness of the night. At the stroke of midnight, the mirror's surface shimmers, as if disturbed by an unseen force. A pale hand emerges from within the glass, long, unnaturally thin fingers pressing against the surface. The warped reflection shifts, hinting at a presence from beyond, a silent invitation into the unknown. In the dim light, Mara rises, a silhouette against the doorway, the room's silence heavy with unspoken tension. A subtle ripple disturbs the stillness. Mara's hushed question cuts through the air. "What do you want?" An unseen presence answers, a voice like a shadow. "Company." A pale, unnatural hand emerges, followed by a face familiar, yet twisted into a horrifying mockery. Black eyes, devoid of light, a grin stretched too wide, a grotesque parody of Mara's own smile. A cracked mirror reflects Mara's pale face in the dim light, her eyes wide with fear. Her reflection's lips move, a chilling whisper echoing in the silence. Let me in, Mara. Mara recoils, her voice trembling as she desperately refuses. No. The reflection's eyes darken, a sinister smile spreading across its face. A menacing threat hangs in the air. Then I'll come anyway. Mara's breath hitches, trapped in a nightmare of her own making. In the dim light of Mara's room, the mirror shatters, a spiderweb of cracks spreading like a curse across the glass. Something unseen pushes from the other side, its force palpable as the mirror groans under the strain. Fear grips Mara as she stares at her distorted reflection, a silent scream building in her throat. With a surge of adrenaline, Mara turns and sprints from the room, her heart pounding in her chest. She bursts into the hallway, her breath ragged, desperate to escape the unseen terror lurking behind the fractured mirror. Silence shatters as doors slam open, the hallway echoing with unseen force. Mirrors tremble violently, reflecting distorted images in the dim light. A deafening crash. As mirrors shatter, the sound swallowed by approaching wet footsteps. The slapping sound grows louder, closer, a terrifying rhythm in the haunted hallway. Sheriff Dalton storms into Hollowbrook Inn, his face a mask of raw terror and urgency, shattering the inn's peace. "Run! They're crossing over!" Dalton shouts, his voice a desperate plea against an unseen horror. Mara's eyes widen, confusion and fear mingling as she demands, "What are they?" Dalton's grim warning echoes. "Your reflection, but wrong. Hollow versions. Hungry. It's the only thing that slows them." Dalton gasps, his words a chilling promise of a desperate fight for survival. Under the cloak of night, the Hollowbrook Inn vomits forth a horde of pale figures. Mirror creatures emerge, their forms twisted parodies of Hollowbrook's townsfolk. Each step they take is a grotesque dance, their bodies contorting like shattered dolls. The air crackles with an unnatural energy as the mirror creatures advance. Their eyes gleam with a cold, alien light, a haunting reflection of something lost. The once familiar inn now spews forth a nightmare, forever changing Hollowbrook. Under the cloak of night, Mara and Dalton plunge into the murky swamp, desperate to escape. Branches claw at their arms, a desperate struggle against the swamp's relentless embrace. With each step, mud sucks at their boots, a grim reminder of the swamp's unforgiving grip. A chilling fog swirls around their ankles, obscuring their path and heightening the sense of dread. The swamp, a dark and menacing entity, seems determined to swallow them whole. In the heart of the murky swamp, the air is thick with decay as Dalton stumbles, his breath ragged, the mud a relentless embrace. He pushes through the gnarled cypress, reaching a clearing where an enormous, ancient mirror rises from the swamp's depths. Its surface reflects the distorted night sky, a dark omen hanging over the still water. "We have to reach the center." "That's where it began," Dalton declares, his voice echoing in the night. Eerie bioluminescent fungi cast an unsettling glow on the swamp's thick fog, where unseen horrors lurk. Grotesque creatures encircle Mara and Dalton, their forms shifting in the dim light. The air is heavy with the stench of decay and the guttural growls of the swamp's denizens. Mara, surrounded, her voice strained. "We can't fight them all." Dalton's determined response cuts through the tension. "We don't have to. Just destroy the original." In the murky swamp, shadowy creatures surge forward, their advance relentless under the cloak of night. Mara's eyes blaze with determination as she seizes a fallen log, ready to meet the onslaught. With a fierce grunt, Mara swings the heavy log, aiming for the heart of the towering mirror. The impact resonates through the swamp as the log connects, a deafening crack echoing in the air. A spiderweb of fractures erupts across the mirror's surface, distorting the creature's reflections. The creatures scream, their voices sounding like screaming, voices like shattering glass. Night cloaks the swamp, ancient trees draped with spectral moss. Dalton's urgent shout pierces the stillness. "Hit it again!" Mara raises her hand, determination etched on her face. The mirror shatters under Mara's blow, cracks spider-webbing across its surface. Each shard reflects the dark swamp, a fractured glimpse into the unknown. An eerie silence hangs heavy over the swamp, the air thick with the scent of decay. At the murky water's edge, a lone figure stands, her face mirrored in the dark depths. The reflection stirs, its eyes burning with an unsettling, independent intensity. A chilling warning echoes from the depths. "If you break this, you break yourself." The swamp holds its breath, waiting. The swamp exhales the stench of rot under a cloak of night. Fireflies blink like distant stars in the oppressive darkness. Shadows twist and writhe, distorting the gnarled trees into grotesque figures against the murky water. Dalton's voice cuts through the stillness, a demand laced with desperation. "Mara, finish it!" A chilling voice echoes, a haunting warning from the depths. "You don't understand what waits on the other side." The voice rises, a stark accusation against the world. "We're not the monsters. Your world is." Under the cloak of night, Mara pauses at the swamp's edge, a moment's hesitation sealing her fate. A monstrous creature erupts from the murky depths, its grip relentless as it drags Mara into the swamp. Mara is pulled halfway in, her body contorting, stretching, as if on the verge of tearing apart. Panic floods her eyes as the swamp consumes her, the dark water reflecting her terror. Dalton's desperate cry echoes across the swamp. Mara! A deafening crack echoes as the mirror shatters, unleashing a blinding white explosion that momentarily engulfs the swamp. Silence descends, heavy and unnatural, as the fog slowly dissipates, revealing an eerily still swamp, devoid of life. Dalton trembles, his eyes wide with disbelief, staring at the mirror shard scattered in the muddy water. In a shard of glass, Mara's reflection flickers alive, pleading, her silent scream lost in the stillness. Mara's reflection's lips form a desperate cry for help. Help me.
Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment and share.